Where's my... Oh. Hey, kia ora. Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Oops, I got a dirty shoe. Oops. Hope you all had a super fantastic sparkling day. Sorry, I'm a bit of a mess. It has been a very, very busy day. Started the day off with a fabulous mastermind group. And then when that finished, I had some lunch and then headed out to get my mail and to stop by the RV and pick up some and clear out the last of the stuff from the inside of the RV. I still have a couple of lockers to clean out, and I'm going to go do that tomorrow, so it's all done. But yeah, I think I kind of just wiped my face a few times, going like this. It was hot. It was sweaty. It's like 104 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 30 something Celsius. Sorry, I can't remember my conversions right now. It was so hot because there was no air circulating inside the RV. But I made short work of it. I was only there for maybe 30, 40 minutes, clearing out the last of the stuff inside the RV. I had 3 colored trash bags. I had the black ones, I had the white ones, and I had gray ones. And the gray ones, all the trash was going into that. I took out more. When I left, my trunk was not even half full. It only came up, there was about this much with the trash bags. It was about this high with the trash bags. And the stuff I was bringing home was about this high and took up just took up less than half of the back of the trunk. The trash took up the rest of it. And they had a big dumpster there. So I stopped there and prayed that there was room in there for it. Absolutely. There was one half that was like completely like empty, and I was able to get all the bags in there, and I still got the stuff sitting in the trunk of the car to bring in. So but yeah, the inside of the RV is now cleared of everything. All that's left in the RV is everything I'm leaving with the RV. So that was kind of cool to get that done. And on the way home, I thought I was so tired and dehydrated. I had my big, and don't even have it here with me. I think I've left it in the kitchen. My big 40-ounce container of water. Most of that got drunk on the way home. And I thought, it's 4:00. I had dumped the stuff off at 4:00. And then I was on my way home and I thought, you know what? In-N-Out. We're going to In-N-Out. Do you know what I got to do at In-N-Out, which I have never, ever done at an In-N-Out drive-through before? This was the first time for all the years we've been going to In-N-Out and all the times we've been through drive-throughs. For the first time ever, I pulled up to the little order box that says order here and spoke to somebody through the box to place my order. Every other time I've gone to an In-N-Out drive-through, they've always had people standing there with their little laptop, little iPads or whatever, taking your order and everything else. For the first time ever in all the years I've been going to In-N-Out, I went through the drive-through and drove up to the box and gave my order. I thought, I have never done that before. It was a novelty. Yes, I was still ordering my burger and fries extra well. And there's 3 ways you can get the fries done. There's regular, there's well, and there's extra well. Extra well are yummy because they're nice and crunchy. Amazing the things you learn. I said, I want them extra crispy. And they said, extra well? I said, yeah, that sounds good. I got up one and I says, you guys have an extra well? They go, yeah, it's normal, well, or extra well. And I was like, okay. So if nobody specifies, you get them done normal. I'm getting extra well now that I know they have an extra well. Anyway, so I am so exhausted. My brain is fried because we had such an incredible mastermind thing mastermind session this morning for the mastermind group that I belong to. It was just amazing. They brought in an outside guest who is top notch, absolutely brilliant to listen to. He always has really good advice and ideas and things like that. And he made us actually do some work today. We actually got hands-on today, which was awesome. Then we got to brainstorm a business, which was even better, which was good as well because I enjoyed that too. So yes, I got to do that. Like I said, finished that, went and had lunch, and then headed out. And now that I'm home, I am exhausted. The hunger side and the thirst side have been taken care of. But then I went to sit down. I thought, oh, I smell. So after this, it'll be back into the shower again. Yeah, I'm not going to bed like this. That's just not done in my bed. Anyway, so tonight None of that has anything to do with tonight. Let me tell you this. So tonight we're doing our podcast number 2114, Little Luxuries We Carry. Now we're talking about sometimes it's the smallest comforts that hold us together in seasons of change or exhaustion. We often reach for the little luxuries that soothe our minds, ease our bodies, and warm our hearts. These aren't just indulgences, they're reminders of what makes us feel at home within ourselves. And I was trying to find my little bear, and I can't find my little bear, and I don't know where my little bear is. So what it teaches us, little luxuries are anchors during busy, chaotic, or tender sessions. Comfort doesn't always come with grand gestures. Sometimes it's a cup of tea, a soft blanket, or a square of chocolate. Paying attention to what nurtures us creates space for intentional rest. These small rituals are acts of self-love that remind us we are worthy of care. And I was trying to find my little bear, but I don't remember the last time I used my little bear. But my little bear is about this tall. He's just a little soft teddy bear. He's about this tall, and he has a little elastic ring on the back of his hand, and I've quite often slipped it over my finger, and that helps me just hold it. And that little bear has been through a lot with me. I got him before Brad got diagnosed with cancer, and then whenever Brad was in hospital, in surgery, having procedures done, chemo treatments, whatever it was, that little bear sat in my hand, and it was a big comfort to me because I could just rub this little bear's face, and he fitted perfectly in the palm of my hand. Like I said, a little elastic band ring on the back of it that I was able to put over my finger and just hold him there so I could never drop him. But I thought I knew where it was, which is why I was a couple of minutes late, because I thought, oh, go grab the little bear. But he wasn't where he was supposed to be. I was like, darn. So I don't know where he is. But it says little bear. He's all of about this tall, and he just fits in my hand. And I just used to stroke his face when I started stressing out. I would just stroke his face, and it would just help me calm down and relax. One of the things I am looking forward to when I get to New Zealand is to being able to use my weighted blanket again. When I was growing up, if you were cold, you put more blankets on the bed. If it was cold, we didn't have central heating. Most places in New Zealand still don't have central heating. We didn't have AC. If it was hot, you open the windows, let the air in. And hot is, what would it be? In the 60s, about around 60 degrees Fahrenheit. It would be, in the 60s. And that would be hot. So you just throw the blankets off, have the windows open, let the breeze in, that sort of stuff. And if it was cold, you close the windows and put more blankets on the bed. A weighted blanket, I heard about these weighted blankets and about how soothing they were and very comforting. And Zeffy, I had a Thunder shirt for Zeffy, which is one that would wrap Zeffy in comfort, that was supposed to help with like fireworks and loud noises and things like that, and help keep her calm. She never really needed it. This dog calmed me more than I calmed her. There were times that we were caught in hailstorms, and when you're in an RV, there is no insulation. It is very, very loud when a hailstorm starts. You can't even watch a movie or have music on or anything like that. And Zeffy would just go and curl up in her crate, and she'd be happy. And I would lay on the floor on my stomach in front of her crate and just have my hand in there, just stroking her and talking to her, keeping her calm. She was calmer than I was. But we got the Thunder shirt for her, and because I didn't know how she would deal with fireworks or anything like that. That dog would hear thunder. She would come running down wherever she was. If she wasn't already on the dashboard, on her bed on the dashboard, she would come running from wherever she was. She would jump up onto her bed. She would get her nose, and she would open the side curtains and just sit there and look out the window at all the lightning going off. It never fazed her. It was just amazing watching her do that. And I was just a little bit, what are you doing? And I'd see the flashes coming. And there was one time we were sitting in the car, and there was this beautiful, we'd gone out somewhere. I don't remember where we'd been. We'd gone out, and we came back, and I parked next to the RV. And this is when we were living over in Sun City. Obviously I gave 2 thumbs up. Okay, so this is what happens. We just parked the car, but in front of us was this glorious, absolutely incredible lightning storm going on in front of us. And it was in the clouds. It was fantastic. And we're sitting there, and Zeffie's sitting in the back, and she's watching out the front window. I'm videotaping it, taking pictures of it and everything else. It was amazing. And it was in the distance. It wasn't over top of us or anything. And Zeffie on the videos, you hear her whining a couple of times, but it's more like, can we go inside? Because as soon as we got inside, she went up onto the dashboard to her favorite place and sat there or laid there on the bed, because her bed had a rim around the edge of it, an edging around the end of it. And she just laid there and just looked out the window watching it. She didn't want to sit in the car and do it. She wanted to do it inside the RV where she was comfortable. She had her little routines for things. But it was absolutely glorious. And she just sat there and watched it. She whined until we got inside, and then she went up to her place and just laid there and just watched it. And I left the lights off so we could see the flashes properly, and she just laid there and just watched out the window, watched everything going on, and didn't faze her a bit. But anyway, weighted blankets, back to weighted blankets. So weighted blankets are meant to be very soothing and very calming and helping people feel safe. A weighted blanket to me reminds me of the blankets I used to sleep under as a kid, because we had, the sheet, then you'd have a blanket or two, then you'd have the cover, and then you'd have a quilt that would go on top of the bed. So in the middle of winter, I loved it because we had the fluffy flannel sheets, and would snuggle down in there, have a couple of wool blankets on top of the bed, and then would have the bedspread, and then I'd have a quilt that I could pull up from the bottom of the bed that was a thick quilt, and pull that up, and it was a nice weight. I loved the weight of it. I hated summer because I couldn't sleep under that much. It was too hot. But I love the winter because I could burrow down in my bed and sleep with this weight on top of me. And that is what a weighted blanket reminded me of that safety, of that comfort, of being a child, sleeping at night. And I can sleep really well underneath. And the only times I got to use it was during the winter months in the RV. Even in the house here, it's still too hot to use the weighted blanket. I've tried. So I can't wait to get down to New Zealand with my weighted blanket and just have the sheet and have that on top, so I can burrow down in that in the wintertime. So I'm looking forward to being able to do that, and maybe sleeping on my couch or my recliner with my weighted blanket on. So I'm looking forward to that. The other things that I like that are my little luxuries is there's a tea. It's Pukka, Pukka, and they do a really yummy lemon, ginger, and manuka honey. Now, manuka honey is from New Zealand. It is a very healing type of honey. You can take some of that manuka honey just straight and just put it on cuts and bruises and burns and that sort of thing, and it will help the healing process. It's antibacterial, no, anti whatever it is. It's really good stuff. I like, if I can get a jar of it, I will have like a teaspoon a day of the honey. Just eat a teaspoon a day. My last jar ran out, so I don't have it anymore. But I did swirl some hot water around it and pour it into a glass and drank it, to make sure I got all the honey out of the jar. The things we do for the things we love. But yeah, I absolutely love this tea. It's very soothing, very calming. You've got the power of lemon in there. You've got the power of the ginger in there, and the power of the manuka honey in there. There's not a lot of that sort of stuff in there, but it is enough that helps. It helps settle for me, it helps settle the stomach. It helps calm me down. It's very grounding for me. And that's what I like about that tea, is it's very grounding. My other little luxury is chocolate. Those that know me very well will know that chocolate would definitely be on the list. Chocolate. I will eat chocolate till the cows come home. I love dark chocolate. In fact, today I just got in the mail, and it was in the mail. It was sitting in my box, which is around the side here, which is just a metal thing with little doors on it that you put your key in and open up, and it sits in the sun all day long. And so I went over and cleared out my mail today, and there was this box in there, and I thought, this kind of looks like it could be a box of chocolates. And so I got home, and it was from my friends Amy and Lois had sent me a thank you, and it was dark chocolate macadamia nuts from Hawaii. I was super, super excited to see those, and I thought, oh, hang on, that's been sitting. I don't know how long that had been. It had been probably sitting in there maybe 2 or 3 hours in the baking sun. Of course, my box is at the top, so it's not one of the middle ones. It's at the top, so it's got the sun beating down on the top of it and on the door of it. And so I opened up the box. I sent them a picture of the box saying thank you very much, and all that. I opened up the box, and the chocolates still were holding their shape. They were a little on the soft side, so I didn't touch them. I just closed the box and put it straight in the refrigerator. So hopefully they've firmed up a little bit so I can go have some dark chocolate macadamia nuts. But I always, in my fridge that we had in Solana Beach, I had a little chocolate shelf. And It was, we had the door of the refrigerator, and you know how you normally have the shelves and the shelves stick out. This was right at the bottom, and when you had the inset that you have on the door that helps make the shelf, this one just had a piece of clear plastic that went across the bottom of it. It didn't have the piece that stuck out like all the other shelves did. And that was my chocolate shelf. And because my husband was 6'5", he could not see my chocolate shelf unless he bent down to have a look. So because from his angle, all he could see was the top shelf, the shelves all sticking out, but he couldn't see my little chocolate shelf. So that was where I kept my chocolate. It was very safe there because the people who came to visit, who knew us, the family, they all knew that you do not touch Helen's chocolate. That is my chocolate, and we do not mess with that. One incident back in Virginia, I didn't have a chocolate shelf, so I just had a place where I kept the chocolate in the fridge. And the boys found it one time. One of the boys found it, and he goes, "Oh, can we have some of this chocolate?" I went, "Nope." He goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "There's no chocolate in the refrigerator." "Yes, there is." I said, "Nope. You do not see any chocolate in the refrigerator. There is no chocolate. For everybody, I said, for me, there is chocolate in the refrigerator. For everybody else, there is no chocolate." They learned very quickly that if they saw chocolate in the refrigerator, they weren't allowed to touch it. Unless offered to them, they were not allowed to ask for it because I don't share my chocolate. Well, I'm not a very good person at sharing chocolate anyway. I used to share my, when Brad would take me to See's Candies for my birthday. I tell you, having a birthday in December sometimes is a pain because when we go to See's Candies, now my birthday's at the beginning of the month. My birthday's 2.5 weeks before Christmas. You go into See's Candy, it would be absolutely packed with people getting their Christmas chocolates, their assorted things. And they already had stuff that was pre-thing. I had to go through and select mine because I wanted specific chocolates in there. And I would always get a couple for Brad. And his favorite one was the one with the lemon filling. So I'd always get a couple of those. So on my my first birthday after he passed, my first and last birthday after he passed, my first birthday after he passed, I had my last visit to See's Candies. I went into the store. It was packed. They were running ragged behind. They had no organization, zero organization. All the other See's Candies we had been into, and we had been into this store before for my birthday. It was all well organized. Everything was run. They had people walking around with samples. They had people going into the lines and asking how they could help them. You know, "Oh, you just have that? Let's get you over here and get you checked out. You just want that? Do you need to get any assorted candies? No, you just want to buy these boxes? Fine, let's go over here and get you checked out now." So they were pulling people from the line and getting them checked out and only leaving people in line who wanted to select boxes of candies. And then, of course, when they found out it's my birthday, because Brad would always say, "Oh, we're here to get my wife her birthday chocolates." And they go, "Oh, it's your birthday?" I go, "Yeah." Like I said, my husband starts tradition of bringing me in every year. And so we both got, "Well, which one would you like?" And so Brad would always get this lemon cream one, and I would always get whatever one I wanted. One of the choose. And so I would then select my box of chocolates. Now, Brad always said, "You can get a 2-pound box if you want." And I was like, "No, a pound is enough. Thank you." And so I would always make sure I got a couple of lemon creams for him. And every now and again, I'll just give him a lemon cream. And so on my first birthday after Brad passed, I went into the same store we'd been the year before. Same store we'd been the year before. It was chaotic. Now I was already on edge because this is the first time I was doing it without Brad. I was keeping up a tradition he had started for my birthday. And I went in and the place was like a zoo. It was so chaotic and so crazy enough. I wanted to leave and I could feel the stress rising in me. And I was like, "No, it's my birthday. I want to keep this tradition going." It was the worst experience I have ever had in a See's candy store. Even when I told them that, you know, I was here to pick up my birthday box of chocolates, to pick them out, they were like, "Oh, happy birthday." Or, yeah, one person said happy birthday and that was it. Didn't even get offered a free sample. Brad and I would always leave on a chocolate high after having 3 samples. We got 3 samples each every time we went in. 0 samples, 0. And so the girl made up my box of chocolates, was in the process of wrapping it when the manager goes, "Your hours are done, get out." Not just finish that. And she goes, "But I'm in the mode." And he says, "Leave it. Somebody else will finish it." He was so abrupt and so rude to her. When I wanted to jump across the counter and slap him for his disrespect of his employees, for his team members. I was so upset with that. I was already upset anyway because because I lost it I started crying a couple of times and like, I'm sorry, this is the first time I've had to come in and do this without my husband with me. He passed a couple of months ago. And she was like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, and carried on. And so she's, like I said, in the middle of wrapping my chocolates. And so then the girl comes up, because everybody wanted Christmas paper. Mine was birthday paper, not Christmas paper. So this woman comes up to wrap up another person who didn't want Christmas paper on the thing, and looks at it and goes, what are these doing here? Whose are these? Who's taking care of this? I said, excuse me. She goes, yes. I said, those are my chocolates. But the girl that was wrapping it got told that she had to leave because her hours were up. And this woman stands there and goes, and like glares at the manager. And so she says, give me one moment. And so she puts everything aside because it was half wrapped, finishes wrapping it, brings it over and puts it on the counter. And some other girl came up to check out somebody else. And she goes, who's this? And I said, that is mine. It's a pound of dark chocolate, blah, 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 blah. And so she rang me out. I got into the car. I put them into the back because I had a cooler in the back with ice blocks. And then I put them into the back. And I went and I sat in the car and I just cried. I had the sun shield up at the front there, and I just sat there and just let it all. I mean, I was hanging on by a thread in that store because of how rude everybody was in that store. And from there, I went straight up to the cemetery and sat on Brad's grave, and I took out this little lemon cream chocolate. And because his grave was still kind of new, there were still little flaps of grass where they had put the grass back on top, and there's little flaps that hadn't rooted properly yet. And so I lifted up one of those, and I took the lemon cream out, put it underneath that little lift up of grass, and stuck it in there. And I had Cara oranges with me as well, because those were his favorite. And I had his favorite energy drink with me as well. And so I had a little picnic, and he got some too. He got a piece of the Cara orange, he got his piece of chocolate, and he got some of the drink poured over the top of it. And it was all tucked in underneath this little grass pocket right by the headstone. And I just sat there and cried and told him about the situation. And that was the last time I ever went to a See's candy store. I just had such a bad experience. I can't do this. I can't deal with this. So that was the last time. And then, of course, the other day I got that box of See's candy that had the little happy doggist on it. I'm keeping this. So I got those, and today I got dark chocolate macadamia nuts. I'm just like, yes, chocolate. But chocolate I find very soothing, very calming, good in all situations, and makes you feel happy. And it just brings me to that place of grounding and peace and calmness and grounding. No matter how rough it was getting the chocolates, I would still sit down and just enjoy the chocolates and give thanks for the chocolate and the joy that it would bring. Just give thanks for the little things. So, you've got these little luxuries that you do, and it teaches us that little luxuries are anchors during busy, chaotic, or tender sessions. Absolutely. I really do have to find my little bear because that's freaking me out right now that I couldn't find it. So I guess I'll be finding it this weekend. Comfort doesn't always come from grand gestures. Sometimes it's a cup of tea, a soft blanket, or a square of chocolate. Paying attention to what nurtures us creates space for intentional rest. These small rituals of acts of self-love that remind us we are worthy of care. And what happens when you notice the simple things that bring you joy, peace, or grounding? You make space for small rituals that comfort you in moments of stress. I haven't sat outside much. I've only sat outside twice since Zeffie passed, because she would always be the one to encourage me to go outside. And she's been gone, and she would have been gone 4 weeks tomorrow. But I enjoy sitting on the back porch. But I haven't been able to bring myself to do that very often since she passed, because it was a thing that we would do together. But I've done it twice since she's passed, and just been able to sit out there for no more than 5 minutes and then come back inside again. Because I would be looking for her. And I'd watch the planes fly, the jets fly overhead. I would, close to Luke's Air Force Base, watch the jets fly overhead, whether they were going into land or they'd taken off, depending which way they were going. Watch the birds flying around, but I couldn't last more than 5 minutes out there before the grief started getting it to me. How we carry forward, we create intentional pauses for small joys. A favorite tea, favorite music, a weighted blanket moment. If it wasn't so hot, I would curl up on the couch underneath my weighted blanket. But I have to say, I do have these super soft blankets. I bought several of these, and I have used them for wedding gifts for my nieces and nephew. For two of my nieces that got married, they got one each. And these are blankets that are 60 inches wide by 70 inches tall. If you don't know that, that is a queen size bed is 60 by 80, and these blankets are 60 by 70. And the bottom 12 inches is a foot pocket. And so those that are taller, like those over 6 foot, because 70 inches is just under 6 feet. Yeah, just under 6 feet. It could do a quick math. 2 inches less than 6 feet, so 5'10". And these are the perfect size for somebody who's tall. And and they're because of the width of them, you can have two people snuggle up underneath them. They each have their own side of the foot pocket, but it's just, yeah, they're really comfy. And I have one that's a cover for the couch, and then I have one that I use each night when I'm sitting relaxing, watching a movie, watching TV, whatever, or just sitting and reading. It's just a very super soft, snuggly blanket. And I have when I was in the RV, and it was a super cold day, snuggled up with the blanket and then had the weighted blanket on top, and that was awesome. I have to tell you, because these blankets are super, super soft and snuggly, and yeah, it was absolutely amazing. Celebrate what feels nourishing, even when it seems ordinary. Let your little luxuries remind you of who you are and what makes you feel whole. Share these comforts with others. Connection grows through small shared pleasures. The little luxuries we cherish today become part of the stories we pass on. They hold our memories, shape our rhythms, and remind us and remind those who come after us that life's smallest comforts only often matter the most. So here are your 4 reflection questions. All the journals are down in the listed down below with their Amazon links. And if you want the regular one, just go up here. If you don't want the non-volume one, you can just go up here and get the original one by scanning the QR code. Question number 1, what are 3 small luxuries that bring you comfort right now? How do these little rituals ground you when life feels busy or overwhelming? Which of your favorite comforts connect you to a memory or a sense of home? How might you create more intentional moments to savor these small joys? I have to tell you, I love those little luxury moments. And for me, most of them I can do anywhere. But I really do miss being able to use my weighted blanket. I'm still deciding, I'm deciding if I'm going to ship it down ahead, because there's going to be 3 things. There's going to be the movers coming in and taking the bulk of the stuff to New Zealand for me. Then there's going to be some stuff that I'm going to need down in New Zealand, but I can't use it as checked luggage because there's a lot, it might be too much of it. So I'm going to box up some stuff and ship them down to my mum and dad's place before I get there. And then there'll be the luggage I take with me. So, so I'm thinking, do I put my weighted blanket in the moving stuff? Do I put my weighted blanket in the pre-ship stuff? Because it is heavy, and it would need a suitcase by itself. It would need to go in its own little suitcase if I had to check it as luggage. So I'm thinking I might ship it down beforehand. Mind you, they're going into summer, so it may not be needed at that time. And so, I can wait till it gets down there. So I'll probably end up going with the movers. I still haven't fully made that decision yet. That's just one of those things. So in closing, in the quiet pauses of life, we find tucked inside the simplest comforts. Sorry, not reading properly tonight. Tell you, fried brain. In the quiet pauses of life, we find joy tucked inside the simplest comforts. Tonight, may you lean into the little luxuries you carry. They are the whispers of love to yourself. And with that, we are out of here. Go out, have a super fantastic sparkling evening.